Boom! What up, guys? Welcome to another show, man. This is the second show with my guy, Smoking Cokin, man. Dave Cokin, if you guys didn't know, the number one college football capper over at Wage Talk, guys. You know, as always, we're partnering with Wage Talk. I'm staring at the odd screen right now. It's free. I don't see why you guys wouldn't be watching. There's a million college football games. They have money percentages all over the place, man. Compare lines. Make sure you're getting the best line, man. There's a 7.5 and a 7 out there. Make sure if you're taking points, you're getting a 7.5. You're laying. Make sure you get the 7, man. We're trying to be smart here. What's up with you, Dave, my brother?
It mattered last night in those two
It
games.
did.
Facts. That's shopping around and getting lines at the right time is going to either add or subtract money from your pocket, and that's what this is all about.
Exactly. That's facts right there. Yep. Like I said, and I know people are not really huge on buying points, but if it was Pittsburgh minus 7.5 last night, you took it. I mean, I don't know. I know that's a tough one right there, but it's just I don't usually lay 7.5. I'll stay off the game before I lay 7.5. You have any thoughts on that day? I know you don't like buying points, do you?
The math. It's just about the math. So the math says it's a bad investment. That's why the books are willing to give it to you.
That makes sense.
If it made mathematical sense, the books wouldn't allow you to buy the half points. So
that makes sense. Yeah, that land at 7.5. Like say if you had Pittsburgh, I can't stand that losing by that. Oh, it just gets me. But let's talk about some games here, Dave. We got plenty of games on deck, man. Let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about a couple for Friday, guys. We know that you guys really care about the games that's going on that day, but this is mainly just for week one college. So couple games today, then a lot of games tomorrow. Let's get to it, Dave. First game up, let's get to it. Illinois +1 over Indiana. I believe this line was at +3. We have a total of 46.5. So money coming in on Illinois. They look good in the first game against Wyoming. How did they do here now going on the road with Billum over there? Illinois look pretty good, but how does Indiana bounce back from that 2-10 game season last year?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this game because I'm not going to give Illinois that much credit for last week. I mean, I was glad they did what they did because that was the only game I bet last weekend. But Wyoming is horrible. So, I mean, and now Indiana's got game film to look at for Illinois. I still don't like the Illinois quarterback situation. He's just a guy. DeVito can manage a game, but he's way too high with too many throws. He's just not a that good passer. I think where the lines go, I might lean Indiana, but I don't know what to make of them. I'm going to have to watch the game and see if the Hoosiers are already better than they were last season. So I guess I'll pass the game, but the value is gone if you like Illinois.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Value standpoint, Indiana's the only side now.
Yeah, that's a good point there. I lean Illinois here. I know that they looked good last week. I know that there's kind of conflicting things. Whether you feel better with taking a team that played last week and that's already had a game under their belt, or the team that has more rest, more time for preparation, and have the game feel on the team. So I know it's a kind of iffy thing, Dave, depending on which one you like more. What do you think about that?
There's Ralph Michaels did a chart earlier this week. And it showed that teams that have played a game and have a game under their belt, they don't do well against teams that actually haven't played yet. The teams that haven't played have covered like 57, 56%. And I think the reason for that is that they've got game film to look at. And
that makes sense.
That makes, to me, they've got more time to prep and game film. That's a big advantage.
That makes sense. I don't know, Dave. Me personally, 56%, you hit that long term, you're winning, but 56 and 44, it's still kind of split down the middle to me. So I kind of feel like it's either here, you know what I'm saying? Neither here nor there, I feel like, but I guess it is way more this side. But I lean Illinois here. You could argue on the other side that they've knocked off the rust as well. So that's why I feel like it's a really good argument for both sides. But I lean Illinois there. I agree with the money coming down. I always look at it with football. If you're taking the +3, you probably need them to win the game anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? I lean Illinois here. Dave,
I'm not gonna argue against it. I mean, I didn't bet the game, so
that makes sense. Appreciate it, Dave. Let's go over here to Western Michigan and Michigan State here real quick. This line's been hit up. What I'm hearing, Dave, is that Western Michigan is not going to be doing that well this year. What do you think? This is a game where Michigan State might come out here and hop on them. I've looked at it for next week as well. These type of games, Dave, I like to stay away. Like, say, if Michigan State had a big name team next week, I'd likely stay away from this one. But only with Akron on deck, I'd possibly look for Michigan State to smack them up, I believe, early and often.
Yeah, I agree. Western Michigan loses some key guys from last year. They've still got the running back who's outstanding, but new quarterback, new offensive coordinator, and some issues on the defensive side. They couldn't stop anybody last year, and I think that's going to be a problem for them again. Michigan State's secondary is pretty bad last year, and that's all they've heard about in the offseason was how bad they were. That's going to be a motivated group. I think Michigan State can run away with this game.
Yeah, I see it as well. I saw that first half was at minus 13.5. I think they smacked them up here. This could be a trifecta smack. Like, I don't think I've ever done a trifecta in football, but I see Michigan State really hopping on them early and often here. And sometimes the little brother will really come to play, but I don't see it in this particular scenario, my guy. So this is not the one where I'd be looking to take the points. I'd be looking to lay the wood with Michigan State here. This one should get ugly, my guys. Now let's go. Let's go over here to Saturday's game. Let's go over here to the streets of Michigan here, Dave. Different streets, not Lansing, but going to Michigan here. They're laying 30.5 points versus Colorado State, Dave, with a total of 61.5. What do you think about this game, my brother?
Well, the Colorado State upgraded their program in the offseason, but I don't think it's going to show right away. And they're just overmatched here. I think Michigan can name the score, and they're very explosive offensively. I didn't want to lay that many, but that's the only way I look at the game is the Wolverines. They can win this by 50 if they want.
Yeah, that's facts right there. Man, Michigan was struggling for a while last year, kind of start to pick things up, man. Yep. So I'd like to see Harbaugh, because for a while there, I'm like, man, you should have stayed in the NFL. So I like them picking things up, taking offensive leaps, because for a while there, it was bad, man. So I always said, if they fix that offense, the team gonna be scary, Dave. So it appears that they've really been working on the offense.
And they got the Ohio State monkey off their back.
Okay, finally. Exactly.
That's big for that program.
I was on that last year, Dave. I was on that shit, man. Let's go over here to Wyoming here, Dave. You talk about one. Now we know that Wyoming, huge rebuilding year, right? A lot of people kind of was taking them versus in Illinois, thinking of last year's team. You kind of have to you can't always go off last year, right, Dave? And so with this Wyoming team is a prime example. We know they were really good last year, lost a ton of players due to the NFL and transfer portal. And now this Tulsa game, didn't this open up at like -1 or something? Yeah, this opened up at -1. It's up to 6.5, Dave.
Well, after people who watched Wyoming last week, they ran to the windows to bet Tulsa because Wyoming was – look, I liked Illinois last week, but Wyoming was even worse than I thought they would be. The quarterback can't throw the ball. They're just a bad team. I don't know how they're going to win 4 games. This is it's almost a total rebuild. They lost a lot of key guys in the transfer portal and a couple of guys who moved on to the NFL. And when you lose NFL caliber players in the Mountain West, it's going to have a big impact because the depth charts aren't that good in the Mountain West Conference. This isn't like the SEC or the Big Ten. You lose NFL caliber players in the Mountain West, and you're not likely to replace them. And Wyoming certainly didn't. So, I think the value's been completely sucked out of this. And I don't know how good Tulsa is, but I want no part of Wyoming.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I had a little skin in the game here when Tulsa was at -3. I still like it here, Dave. Like I say, this. So you don't think all the value is going? I mean, they still basically need to win by a touchdown here. Now, only thing that gave me a little bit pause. I remember Tulsa had their defense has been pretty good for the past few years, or whatever. And didn't they lose their defensive coordinator, Dave?
Yeah, I'm not real wild about Tulsa, but I just and again, I'm not betting it now because I missed a good number.
Right.
But
fate of Wyoming.
There's a couple of teams in the Mountain West that look really awful, and Wyoming's one of them.
Hey, hopefully there's another one that's looking just as bad. We'll talk here in a second, man. Rebuilding year. Hopefully, I got a nice play, man, this week, Dave. I really need to cash it, man. I'll be honest, I'm be pissed off with the cash, but we're gonna get to that in a sec. But yeah, I agree with that assessment there. It's Houston. Let's go over here to the streets of UTSA. We're going to Texas here, maybe a little backyard brawl. Now UTSA had now their offense was really explosive last year. Their defense did have some problems. That's where I worry about in this game, because we know with Houston, Dana Holgorsen. Now last year, I feel like they were kind of struggling a little bit, but I feel like UTSA may take a step back this year, and Houston may take a step forward. That leads me to I like Houston -4 in this game. Dave, could you talk me off?
I don't know what to do with the game. I know I'm reading all the positive stuff about Houston, but I want to see it. And I'm not sure that San Antonio drops off that much. They did lose the offensive coordinator, and they lost some talent. But I like the pieces that are in place there. And I think this program is just a legit program. I'm not saying they're a top 25 program. They're pretty good. And, they're going to be juiced for this game, playing at home against Houston, little brother, big brother type of thing. I think San Antonio is going to give them a game. So I think it's one of the best games on the board to watch. It's going to be a real exciting game. And I won't be shocked if Runners win the game. I think Houston deserves to be favored, but I can't get to the window with them.
That makes sense. I must say, man, Dana Holgorsen, he made me scratch my head a few times last year. And the coach for UTSA, they did lose some players, but he's a really good Texas recruiter. But I don't know. I just feel like UTSA may have another good year, just maybe not in this first game versus some big dogs like Houston over there. So, and they better fix the defense as well, because I feel like Houston could really light it up. Their defense struggled last year, but Houston really reloaded on the defensive end. That's my angle here. Both offenses really good, but I'm taking Houston's defense here. It could be a back and forth type of game, but I see Houston winning this, pulling out, winning by a touchdown, Dave. So I know anything can happen, but I'll rock with the Houston side on this.
We're going to find out about Houston here. A lot of hype on this team, and we'll see if it's real.
Facts. That's facts right there. Come on, Dana. Come on, Holgorsen. Don't and let me down, my guy. Let's go over here to the streets of Arkansas, man, where I was born in the state of Arkansas, man. I left when I was 5 years old, man, but that's still my state right there. They're laying 6.5, 7 points here. Now, Dave, I want to ask you a question here, because this is something that I really think could be, it's not always this simple. But I mean, I know last night, like Pitt, they looked a lot different, right? Without Pickett out there. What do you think about fading teams early on, like when they had a really good quarterback for the years past, and now he's went on to the NFL? Now, even if they have a really good quarterback that's coming in new, what do you think about just in general fading teams that had like a really good quarterback in years past?
Well, I don't mind doing that, but the odds makers already put that into this game because Cincinnati's a pretty good sized dog here. And the Bearcats are very well coached. Fickle's one of the best around. Arkansas is a good team. Their quarterback is dynamic. But I think this line's too high. Again, I don't play a lot of games, so it's just an opinion that I didn't actually back with money. But I think this is going to be a close game. And the people who are just downgrading Cincinnati and saying, they're finished, I think you're underestimating that program. I think Cincinnati gives Arkansas a real battle here. And I won't be shocked if the Bearcats win this game. That's a good program.
That's a good point there. I know that defense was sticky last year, boy. It's gonna be a good game. I'll watch this game. I'm with you. It's kind of a toss-up type of game where I'll be honest, I'm not sure what to do with it. So I could see it going either way. I could see Arkansas, taking the leads in Cincinnati, because I just feel like it takes a little bit of time to get used to the new quarterback, man. I know it's like Liberty, Southern Miss, man. I know Liberty might be reloaded, but I just feel like they're missing Malik Willis back there, man. So it's games like this. It's like it's Arkansas or nothing for me in this game, but like I'm staying off. I don't know a ton about this one, so I'm staying off, my guys.
Look, Ritter is a huge loss for Cincinnati.
And Sauce Gardner, best cornerback by far. I mean, he might have been one of the best cornerbacks. He was probably the best cornerback in the draft. He was a shutdown corner, in my opinion. They had two of them. They had two shutdown corners, right, David? Both of them left. Yeah.
On paper, I can see why Arkansas is getting all the love in this game. Right. Cincinnati looks like they might not be as good, and they probably won't be. But it's still a big adjustment because last year Cincinnati would have been favored at Arkansas.
Right.
And now they're a good-sized dog. So the odds makers already factored all that in. It's like The one thing I try to tell people is don't think you know more than the odds makers.
Facts right there.
Okay, so when these people say, "Well, the odds makers got this one wrong," yeah, well, they generally know what they're doing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as well. And I like one thing that I learned with NBA: use their algorithms because they're a lot smarter than us. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but they're a lot smarter than us. You can kind of sort of use their lines against them. You see what I'm saying? Because they have their algorithms. Probably got hundreds of people working on this. When you notice different things, it's like, oh, okay, they don't give out free money. So just kind of go with. I kind of notice their algorithms and go with that. But I appreciate that's a good point there, Dave. Let's go over here to South Florida here, my guys. Ton of sharp play. This is maybe one. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a sharp play or not, but I kind of like to follow where the professionals are, like you, Dave. If you're on something, most likely it's a sharp ass play. But I'm seeing a lot of the pros on South Florida here. They're one of the heaviest teams as far as like returning production or like transfer portal, wouldn't it? They got a bunch of ton of transfers in. You have the angle of BYU going to Florida with the heat as well, Dave. I like it. They're laying the points. What do you think about this game, my brother?
I like this BYU team. I think they're really good. I love their quarterback who's dynamic. The coach, players really buy into him. Sataki's got the full respect of his team. Okay. But I do think I agree with the buzz on South Florida. It's like this may be a step forward year for the Bulls. They've had a rough time the last few years, but this is the best team they've had on paper in quite some time. You mentioned the transfers. They did well in that department. So I think South Florida might be sneaky good this year and might be good enough to give BYU a game here.
Yeah, and that's all you need. When you get 11.5, keep it within a touchdown or 10 points at the house as well. And like I say, I remember a couple of years ago, BYU, I know Coastal Carolina were ballers in, but they went into that game and they got smashed. It seemed like the heat really affected them. Maybe they learned from it, but it just seems like once they go over there to the East Coast, they really start to struggle. Maybe if it was a night game, be a little bit different. But in the middle of the day, it's just a little bit different in my opinion. Dave, real quick, I need this game. I know you were saying that Nevada we're going to the streets of Nevada. I know you said they could possibly win the first 3 games because the schedule's kind of soft. I agree. Texas State not the best of team. But if Nevada they did have a game under their belt. If they play the way they did versus New Mexico State, they will likely lose this game by 14 points, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're really bad. And they're slow. I mean, they just don't have any team speed. If you watch that game against New Mexico State, they were lucky to win that game. New Mexico State was minus 5 turnovers, including, was it 2 or 3 in the red zone? I think it was 3. So, and New Mexico State is brutal. So, Nevada's going to have to show some improvement from last week, and I don't know if that's the case. I don't disagree. Look, the money's poured in on Texas State all week long, but I can't disagree with it.
Man, I need Texas State. I posted on Twitter at +1. It's since moved to -1, guys. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think they closed as a favorite. This line opened up originally in the summer at +10.5, +10. It was hit all the way down. I got some +7. I got some +5. I got some +3.
You're in great shape then.
I need this game. But even like I say, David, I take a football team +3. I'm basically saying I think they're gonna win the game. Like I'll most of the time put half on +3, half on money line. So I'm glad to see this close a favor. I need Texas State, guys. I need it.
You got closing line value in a big way. Now I would not bet Texas State now because you don't want to be laying 1 or 1.5 in a game that was plus as much as this one was. That's just exactly you're begging to lose if you do that. But if you got Texas State at a good number, you should feel very confident.
That's facts right there. Yeah, the last show I did, I believe, gave them out at +3 on Monday, and it moved that same day, guys. So let's see what happens. Let's go over here to the streets of Florida really quick. Here, Dave, we have a night game in Florida. Utah coming over here. Utah, a lot of hype. Yes. I know they played well in the bowl game last year. People saying, "Oh, Ohio State didn't really care." Regardless of that, I feel like Utah really is taking steps here. They're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not a regular team from their conference. People are like, oh, we don't respect them over there. Utah is the real deal, Dave. And I feel like it's a real, like they came from the money line. They were underdogs this game, pushed all the way up to -3 against the SEC team, right? I feel like this is I mean, I know you don't care about the Sharps, Dave, but I feel like this is a Sharps versus Joes type of game. Joes versus Pros type of game where the Joes will probably be looking at Florida, the SEC team, getting 3 at the house. But I really think it's the wrong side. I really think Utah the right side, and they're going to win this game here.
They could. I mean, Utah's loaded. The one worry I have is that I think you need to throw out last year's Florida. I mean, the Mullen thing was a train wreck.
Disaster.
And they brought in a really good coach in Napier, and there's a lot of excitement. And it's the Swamp at night, which is not a nice place to play. It's one of the best home fields in the country. So I'm not ready to say that Florida is going to be that much improved, so I can't get to the window with it. But I don't want to go against them in this setting. I think that the Florida crowd is going to be jacked up for this game, and Utah's going to have to be at their best if they want to win this one.
That's facts right there, man. The way that I see it, I think Utah be prepared, especially first game of the season, maybe middle of the season. They might catch them. First game, I think Utah comes in ready to play, and they know this is the whole thing. This is the way I look at it, and I'm a narrative type of bettor. Sometimes, especially in football, if you're better than that team, and you can, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes the team's just better, man, and hopefully the narrative doesn't override this one. Because I agree, Dave. Florida at the house, new coach. There's excitement there. When you're a new coach, you want to start off with the win as well. But I feel like if Utah wants to be a big dog, if you want to hang with the big dogs, you have to win games like this.
It's a must-win. It's a must-win game for Utah. If Utah's got designs on making the playoffs,
facts,
they cannot lose this football game because they would have to be perfect the rest of the way, and that's tough to do. So, I mean, it's tough to say it's a must-win game in the first week in September, but I think it does fall into that category for Utah. They have to win this game. I just don't know if they can do it.
I'm right there with you, Dave. Let's see what happens, man. It's football. It's college football, man. I must say, man, it's college football. Let's go over here to Oregon State here, Dave. Now, I think it's kind of heavy, man. When a -3, especially on a home team. So first off, Dave, in football, the -3 home team, they're kind of telling me right there that the teams are pretty even. It's just home court advantage. When that -3 comes down to -2.5, that's telling you that, like, I feel like it takes a certain amount of money for the +3 to come down to 2.5. I said all that to say I like Boise in this game. I think they win this game, Dave. What do you think?
I do too. Look, they had a bad year last year, but toward the end of the season, Boise got a lot better. They finally started to figure things out, and they've got most of the important pieces back from last year. Oregon State did not do well in the transfer portal, especially for a major conference team. I mean, you're not supposed to lose way more than you gain in the transfer portal. They also took a big step forward last year after several losing seasons, and that's usually something. More often than not, teams step backwards the next year when they had a breakout season after a tradition of losing. I just don't think Oregon State. Well, let me put it this way: I think Boise is the better team, and I agree with you. I think Boise has a really good chance to win. I don't think it's going to be an easy win. It could be one of the best games of the day in terms of closeness. But I think the Broncos are going to come out of this one on top.
I like it, man. I'm with you on that one. Let's cash it, Dave, man. It's some good plays this weekend, my brother. Some good plays. So. Real quick, so 2 more games that I want to touch on. One more that I like and one more that Dave likes. So just real quick, Ohio State, this line opened up at -14. I believe it's getting hit up to -17, -17.5. My guys, like I said, my neighbor here, he's from the state of Ohio, whatever, but he likes Notre Dame. So he kind of sort of has info on both teams. You know what he tells me? You better take that -17. That's what he tells me. So I did what he told me. I took the Ohio State. He said that Notre Dame is ass, their offense is ass, and he said that that Ohio State that this one could get ugly. Do you agree with him?
Stroud's awful good. I mean, he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Their offense is ridiculous, and Notre Dame's offense might have some work to do. But one thing to remember: Marcus Freeman, he is a defensive whiz, and maybe he can find a way to slow down the Buckeyes' attack. And if he can, I don't think Notre Dame's got any chance to win the game. But 17, they might be able to hang that number. I think the odds makers might have been short on this one to begin with. So the summertime number on Ohio State Yeah, I think I can see that. But 17 is getting to that point where I made it a little less than that. So
Okay,
I'm not betting it because Ohio State, they're not going to be shy about running it up if they can.
exactly.
So that worries me. But my power ratings say the game's about 14. So I'm going to stay out of it.
The Ohio State has new defensive coordinator, right? Notre did they have a new defensive coordinator for Ohio State? I believe I saw. But regardless, I know the defense needs some work. So
It
I feel
does.
like once the offense is there, right? Once they fix the defense, watch
Oh, yeah.
out,
They could be
watch out.
they could be a national championship team this year.
I
The
see it, man.
defense has improved because Stroud's a monster.
Yeah,
And the offensive talent's ridiculous in that team. If the defense, it's got to be better though. I mean, it wasn't great last year, and they just got absolutely torched in the Michigan game. So you think back to that, and it's like that's why I'm not comfortable laying this many points
right. Yeah, I
because
feel like
they
if the
can easily get backdoored too.
Yeah, you make a good point there. I actually think this one, Dave. I think personally, they might try to run up the score here, man. I feel like Ohio State's that type of team too, and they have the quick strike ability. I just feel like with Notre Dame, with Brian Kelly leaving, probably took some players with him more than likely. You got the new coach coming in; he's going to want to impress, but I think it's going to take a little time as well. Maybe the defense be coached up real nice versus somebody else, but it's Dave, you got to admit, it's pretty tough to go up that first game versus Ohio State.
But the one thing I'll say is, and this is just my overall viewpoint, I like defensive coaches who step into head coaching situations. I'm a defense first guy, and in today's football, if you can stop the other team,
Right.
you're going to be okay. And I think Notre Dame's going to have a really solid defense. Freeman's the goods. He's going to do a great job there.
That's a good point. You know Bolo more than me, Dave. So y'all listen. Don't listen to me. Listen to Dave, my guy. But at the end, I'll tell you guys what I bet. We'll see what happens.
And I'm not betting against you either.
Okay. But like I say, you still know more than me, a whole lot more, my guy. So just y'all pay attention to Dave, man. He the expert here, my guys. Last game up, Dave, and we'll get out of here. Let's talk about this Sunday game because we know everybody's gonna love this one. I mean, I believe that's the only game on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But we got Florida State getting the +3 at LSU. Speaking of Brian Kelly, he's the new head coach at LSU. All right. So how will his debut be there? You do have a team that has more preparation and got some game film for Florida State. What's up with Florida State, Dave? Are they back or what?
They're better than they've been, but I'm still not wild about their head coach. And there's no program in the country. We talked about Florida being a train wreck last year. LSU was the train wreck of all train wreck. That was a dumpster fire. They've got talent all over the place. I'll make a prediction. Within 3 years tops, LSU will be a playoff team.
Oh, I like
They'll be in the Final Four. Kelly's going to win big there. He's got a lot of really good athletes in place already, and I think the situation was just not good last year. I think that's out the window now. I think this team's going to be on the same page. A good football game, but my side would be LSU here. I think you're going to see rapid improvement for the Tigers. And it's not a home game, but it's in New Orleans, so it's going to be mostly an LSU crowd. So that's worth a point. I haven't bet it yet. I haven't ruled out playing LSU though.
Yeah, I see it trying to tick up to 3.5. Dave, you want to take this? You might want to hop on that 3, guys.
I want to see what the public does with this. If the public loves LSU, I'm probably just going to stay out of it.
They're going to be on LSU, Dave.
Yeah.
Come on, Dave. You don't care who the public is on. I know you don't. I watched enough shows, Dave. You don't care.
But it impacts the line.
You're right. It's going to 3.5.
Yeah, I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens with the line. I know
standalone game.
If the public is on LSU and the line doesn't get to 3.5 or 4, yeah, it might mean there's some sharper money on the Florida State side. The Seminoles are going to have to prove it to me.
I track sharp action all week, Dave. Sharp money. Some money is on Florida State +3. I don't understand it. Like I said, I don't always. I mean, I'll see what the sharps are. I don't always understand it. I don't, and they lose too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
I do like to listen to people that knows more than me. NBA, I'm not looking at anything, but football, I pay attention to the sharps because that means they know more than me. It's simple, guys. So, but I don't always take it. Some sharp money on Florida State +3. LSU or nothing for me. It's pretty simple. Florida State got to prove it to me. This isn't who they play last year. Who they play last week? Some cupcake.
It was
No,
FCS team.
stop it. When you go up against the real boys, it can kind of be like a wake up call. Like, oh damn, we thought shit was gonna be easy. Not so fast, my guys. Let's get out. That's the last game. Dave, let's talk about real quick, man. I want to say if you guys like to buy a shirt, I got these shirts, man. J money is money. Us against the bookies. Let's get some cash. Smack City, man. Let's take the bookies to Smack City. It's us against them, my guys. Y'all know how it is. But let's get to some free picks. Dave, if you guys didn't know, Dave is the #1 college football capper over there at Wager Talk. You can get $10 off any one of his packages. Use promo code Cokin10, Dave. Anything that you'd like to break us off as the best bet, and what do you have going over there at Wager Talk, my brother?
Well, I do like the Michigan State, but I think that line's gotten out of hand. The games we talked about, I think Boise's the right side against Oregon State. Should be a good game. And I think Boise's going to find a way to come out on top. So, you can grab. I think the 3's gone, but you can live with 2.5 there, and I would splash a little money line on that as well, around +130.
Dave, real quick. I'm sorry I missed the game. The Army versus Coastal Carolina. Please tell. Come on, what are you doing, Dave?
Decided not to play it. But Lean Army, they're so well prepared, and I don't know if Coastal's going to be able to stop that running game. So I would lean the Army side in that game. I'm not getting quite the number I wanted, and I do respect this Coastal Carolina program. And look, they've got a really good quarterback, and that can be a difference maker. Because Cokin can throw the ball all over the field. He's going to get a look in the NFL.
He's coming off. He is coming off season surgery, and I did see they lost a ton of players too. They did. What do you think, Dave? Did they reload? They did lose a lot of players.
I think to some extent they did. They're getting good talent there now. But in a September game, I know how well prepared Army always is.
Thanks.
With that option attack, and I think Army might get out of there with a win. Might be a low scoring game too, because Army has those really long time consuming drives. So their games often go under.
I took Army already, man. So they do have McCall back, but like I said, hopefully he got to shake off a little rust after that injury. But after off-season surgery, guys, real quick, I'll break you off with my stars, the plays that I guess I feel the best about, guys. And we're gonna get out of here. I appreciate you coming on with me, Dave, as always. Texas State +3 at money line. I broke y'all off with this early this week, guys. So, but I am on the money line, so I need them to win the game. The way I see it going, they should win. Army +2.5. Southern Miss +3.5. Utah money line, or I got it -2.5, but you can take the money. It's up to you guys. Ohio State -17. Clemson from my guy here, Dave Cokin, -21.
Yeah, I think
Houston. Okay, go ahead. That's the money in that game, right?
Yes.
So he gave us that one already. Clemson -21. It's going up to 22.5. Houston -4. Boise State +2.5. And I'm riding with Ralph as well. Ralph Michaels on his Louisville -4 play, my guy. So maybe more plays coming. I'll do more research tonight. Go live in the morning. I'm hitting the spot tomorrow. We smacking them up. My daughter's here, motivated more than ever. The BS stops here, man. Let's get some cash. Appreciate Dave for coming on with us. Go get a package from Wager Talk. Use promo code Cokin10 for $10 off. Go follow him on Twitter at Dave Cokin. We will win, my guys. It's us against the bookies. Let's get some cash, Dave. I appreciate you coming on as always. Appreciate everybody in the chat for coming join the show live. We appreciate your time, and let's win, my guys. We out.